All right, I'm just going to jump right in. They told me 45 minutes to speak and then a 15-minute Q&A. Just a quickie about me. I'm a homeschool mom. I've homeschooled for 23 years. I've got 5 amazing kids and 3 graduates. And I've got 2 kids that got married in the last month. So that was a lot of fun, and 4 granddaughters. And it's a wild, crazy life. 2 kids that are still homeschooled, and I've been a radio network news anchor for 23 years. So in Chicago and then in upstate New York, and started writing books a couple of years ago. And John and I now have had 5 Amazon bestsellers. So you guys might know me, I don't know, from this book. A lot of people pick this one up at some point. I've had a lot of people ask me to rewrite it for the new website. So I think I'll start that project at the beginning of the year. I've also written Fearless, and I think I got one of those around here somewhere. This one is my go-to to tell people why we oil, why oiling matters. And I just wrote a new one, and I'll share a little bit from it tonight. This one is called the Game Plan Oil Script Book. Oh, Jordan's got it in her hands. All right, Jordan, you get brownie points, girl. It's like win the diamond over. So I wanted to take a few minutes tonight and just kind of speak to you on a really carnal level. I hope it's okay if I just step outside of the diamond role and the author role and just kind of talk to you guys as mom to mom and friend to friend. I know I'm probably wicking you out by saying, hey, you're my friend tonight, but I'm a blue personality, so everybody's my friend. I would hope so. I wanted to tell you guys that I see you and that I hear you. And the Diamonds have spent a lot of time together the last 6 months. We've gotten together in groups of like 40 and 50 and done retreats. We've been out to Mona. We've sat in rooms together and just talked. And I haven't met a Diamond yet that has not lost OGB this year, or lost leaders, or had problems with legs. And so I want to address that just head on and give you guys some tangible things. I love just really coming in and saying, hey, this worked for me. And these things just cost me a lot of time and had me running in circles. But these things were things I saw OGB growth from, or I saw leaders get clocked in, or I saw them get excited. And so our topic tonight is how to turn your OGB around, how to get unstuck. And I'm just going to be completely raw with you and throw some statistics out so that you guys have some actual tangible numbers to work with. And then we'll kind of break it down. And I'll show you a little bit more about my personal story this year. So personally, John's and my OGV is down about 200,000. So almost $250,000 from the beginning of the year. We went from 74 silvers and above. We were right at the edge of Crown Diamond. We were within 20,000 from hitting Crown Diamond. And we had all of our legs in place. And we went from 74 leaders to 22 people hitting silver and above. We had 3,600 people on loyalty rewards. And coming through into the fall, we're down to 2,700 people on loyalty rewards. So for those of you that are like, man, I'm just so frustrated. I can't get my leaders to show up. I'm doing events and nobody's coming, and I'm doing classes and nobody's coming. And well, like, do I keep doing this? I'm so frustrated. I don't know how to get my OGV moving in the right direction. I want to speak from that place because I know what that feels like coming through this year, but I'm really excited to say that there are some things that we've been doing on our team that have been working really, really well. And I think we're in a bricklaying period where we have to go back and reclaim some of what was lost. And you know what? That's okay. It's all right. Every business everywhere is going to have highs. They're going to have lows. They're going to have periods where you just have these bust, like just boom, boom cycles. And then there are going to be periods where it retracts a little bit. And there's a lot of reasons why that happens. If we don't have Young Living ever retract a little bit, it's not a healthy company. That means it's going to boom and you're in for it like a stock market crash if you don't have these cycles that you're going through. So it's just another sign that our company is very strong. It's very thriving. People have asked me what's causing it. Why are we seeing some of this OGV retraction? Honestly, I would have told you if you asked me 3 months ago that it was corporate's fault. I would have said, I'm frustrated with the website. I'm frustrated with customer service, yada, yada, all the things. And I'm just shooting straight with you guys. But honestly, right now, I would say 80% of it is the economy, more than anything else from what I'm seeing, because our call times are down from 6 hours to 11 minutes. They just put another 90 people in the call center. I'm not seeing huge issues with shipping across our team. We don't have a massive team, but it's a diamond team. So I'm seeing a lot of those little kinks. We've got a gorgeous website. 99.5% of the problems and the glitches on the website have been repaired already. So, I mean, I feel like we're through the worst of June, July, and we're on the up on that. I really don't think the bulk of it is on Young Living's end at this point. I think it is the economy. I think it's inflation. I think it's food prices. I think it is people being paid to stay home. I think that it's supply shortages. I think not enough people to unload cargo ships. I think some of it is a little bit of a learning curve with the new website. I think fear, the pandemic. You know what, though, I would say cyclically as a news anchor, having watched these economic turnovers and switching from Democratic to Republican presidents and Republican to Democratic presidents and back and forth, this kind of economy always turns around. Always. Like, it'll stay in the season for a little bit and then you see this kick and it will flip around. And so what I would tell you is get ready, because Young Living is a sleeping dragon right now. It's a terminology we've tossed around among the diamonds. It literally is a sleeping dragon. So what did Young Living do during the pandemic? We got the new website. I mean, it's gorgeous, guys. It's amazing. Like, it gives us like Amazon capability. And I'm very excited about it. We got a brand new leadership team, and we've had the chance to really sit and talk with some of these people at Mona and hear their heart. And I will tell you, just as a personal assessment, they're some of the humblest leaders I've ever met in my life. And we had one guy come out to Greenville, and we did an event here in Greenville, South Carolina. He sat with our leaders for 2 days and took notes and said, I'm taking this back to Mary Young. We're going to write down everything you're saying. I will sit in circles with her. We will get answers for you. It wasn't just this ignoring you or whatever. I mean, it was like heartfelt, humble, we own it, we accept it, we will fix it kind of behavior. And I don't think I've ever been so proud of our leadership team at Young Living as I have been in the last 6 months. And guys, I will always shoot straight with you, 100%, always shoot straight with you. And I have been very, very impressed with the people that we have in charge. I mean, from IT all the way to the very, very top with Andrew Armstrong and Prasad and obviously Mary. She has surrounded herself with very gifted people who will not stop until all the little kinks are worked out. So I'm excited about that. We got a brand new museum. We got a new visitor center, which is pretty awesome at Mona with sleeping quarters, like so you could take your teams. We have sourced our stuff better. We had issues with shampoo bottles and hand sanitizer bottles and oh my word, like you name it, right? We've turned that around. Innovation. I'm going to say 2 words and then I'm not going to get in trouble because I'm only saying 2 words and I'm staying compliant. The 2 words are geranium and evergreen essence. All right. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But what I love about Young Living is they're always thinking ahead. Do you know it takes 18 months to bring an oil to our hands? 18 months. So to be able to get a geranium bourbon in our hands in Madagascar from a farm we don't have, all right, to be able to pull that off, they had to have been thinking about that oil 18 months ago, which means they were looking at studies that may or may not be on PubMed, right? They were looking at things with maybe geranium and lemon a good year and a half ago, guys, to be able to bring that stuff to you. That means they're always thinking about you before we're even thinking about us and we even know what we need, right? It's pretty incredible. So their innovation, I've never seen a company like this before that really steps back and says, what is it that you need and how can we develop these things and how can we develop them in a way that is seed to seal, that doesn't just poison you with all the garbage ingredients you don't want. Seeing your needs and meeting them. So why will I always be Young Living? We got some statistics when we were at the Diamond event in September, and I'm just going to throw a couple more statistics at you, and then I'll step away from statistics, I promise, and I'll share a little bit about what's happened with our team this year, and then how we've pulled out of the rut that we have been in. And I don't want to paint a picture that we're like hitting crown next month. We're in a bricklaying period right now, but I am seeing a turnaround that I didn't see even 4 months ago. And so I'm just going to share some things that are working with me. So there are only 4 well-run, privately traded companies in the world over $1 billion. Only 4 in the entire earth, and we are one of them. So until a company hits $1 billion, they're not considered secure. So if you're thinking, oh, I might jump ship for this network marketing company or this network marketing company, first thing I check is, are they doing $1 billion or more? Because if they're not, it's not a stable company. We're at 2.2 billion and still growing. We handle 60 to 70,000 calls a day through our website. Our site can now handle 2,000 orders a second. Now, the website a year ago could handle 60 orders a second. That's huge. So we're set to go from a $2 billion to a $20 billion company. And I love that. Like, I'm ready for the ride. Put your hands up so I can see who's ready for the ride, because I am so excited about what's coming, especially as this economy starts turning a corner. So my question is, are you ready? Like, are you ready for what's coming? And do you have systems in place so that your leaders know how to duplicate and you can get out there and do the things that got you to the rank that you are, but will get you to the next 3 and 4 and 5 ranks? So this is a quote from a diamond that I really respect. I respect all 450 diamonds and all the platinums and all the golds and all the silvers. But Richard Blissbrook is a guy I just really connect with. And he had a quote that I thought was awesome. He said, in the last 27 years, and I'm just reading this, there have been at least 10,000 network marketing companies launched in the United States. Young Living is number 10 in the world, but number 1 out of those 10,000 that were launched. Number 1 in sales out of 10,000. We're number 10 in the world out of every direct sales company launched in the last 120 years. I mean, if that doesn't give you some confidence in our company, that's pretty awesome. Only 2 other companies are in our class, and that's Primerica and Melaleuca. Both are 30 years old and $2.2 and $2.7 billion respectively. We are the rarest of rarefied air. And you did all of that without really knowing how to recruit. Amway, Herbalife, Nu Skin, Primerica, Melaleuca, they're recruiting machines. And we did it just with heart, just with passion, just with storytelling, just with sitting down with a friend of a friend of a friend and pouring into them and saying, hey, this worked for me, you should try it, right? So let me share just for a couple of minutes, a little bit of my story over the last year. I promise I'll make you cry. It's a little bit tonight. Has been kind of a crazy year for me and my family. I gave you my numbers, and then I'm just going to shoot straight with you about some of the things that we've done. The reason I'm sharing some of this with you guys is because I think we need to speak to the emotion of network marketing. It's really easy to just give you stats and figures and say, do A, B, C, and get out there and go do it, bada bing, bada boom. But the reality is this network marketing is an emotional game. And so getting your head out of places it shouldn't be and getting your head in places it needs to be is critical for you to be able to stay in the game and not just get kicked to the ground with a boot on your face. So I don't know if I have screen sharing capability. Let me see. Of course I do, because it's Jill on call and she doesn't miss anything. I'm just going to share. I did a little presentation for Ali Wenker, and I just wanted to share a slide or two of it with you guys. It's called Persevere. This is my new one. This is the one Jordan was talking about. So I put 25 classes in one book. It's up at oilabilityteam.com, or you can grab it on Amazon or any of the cool places. But I want to share a little bit from the very, very beginning of it called Persevere, because I think that's kind of where we're at. It's just like, all right, we're in a period where we step back and go, how did I get where I am? How did I get to the rank I was before? And what on earth happened the last 12 months? What happened the last 18 months? Or I don't think there's a leader anywhere in Young Living that's not stepping back going, all right, well, like, what do I do now? How do I get out of where I'm at? And a lot of you guys have been through a lot the last year. I mean, I think about some of the people that have written me and told me about family members that they have lost to COVID, or businesses that they have lost, or battling depression, close friends. The entire world is upside down. I mean, if I drive into my home state, New York State, 3 and 4 businesses in the downtowns aren't even open right now. It's like a ghost town up there. There's nobody on the highways. There's nobody in the churches. There's nobody in the stores. And so part of it is just fear and just adapting to that culture of fear and trying to work through it. And part of it is true physical chaos and just trying to work through just health. I mean, I can't believe how many of my leaders in the last year have just been in survival mode, where they've had husbands severely ill, or best friends that have passed away, or parents that have passed away. And so I want to share just a moment, a little bit about what happened to me. December 31st last year, I picked up the virus, COVID-19, and our whole family for a year had planned to go to Biltmore in Asheville. I've got a picture of it for you. It's a big old castle. It's super fun. It's crazy expensive. So we saved all year, and we had family members flying in from Oregon and Illinois, and it was New Year's Eve, and we were just having a great time. And I'm a runner, so I'll run maybe 5-7 miles a day. And I got to the 3rd staircase on New Year's Eve, and all of a sudden I found I couldn't get up the stairs. and I was having a hard time. I was holding onto the railing. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get up the stairs. And I turned to my husband. I said, honey, something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but I don't, something's off. And he said, all right, no problem. But we got these $100 person tickets and our whole family that's flown in from everywhere. And he just kind of took my hand and say, it's all right. Let's go back to the car. So we went back to our car and I sat down on the seat and we had almost a 2-hour drive home. I don't remember the drive home. And I don't remember the next 10 days. I know that I had 105, 106 fever. I know that I woke up a couple of times delirious, and I know that all my family caught COVID. We all had it at the same time. And about day 10, my sister is a COVID nurse and my best friend is a COVID nurse in West Virginia. And so about day 10, my sister told me, she's like, Sarah, you need to be careful. Watch out for day 10 because people tend to either turn a corner or they get very, very sick. So she's like, just stay in dialogue with me. And I was doing all the things that all of you guys have been trained to do: mega doses of vitamin C, D3, quercetin. I mean, all the things. This is before ivermectin was absolutely huge and all of that. But I had done all of the vitamins. I'd taken every oil imaginable. I mean, only the Vitality ones, but every oil imaginable. And I was just getting worse and worse. Finally, on day 10, I'll show you a picture. I know you want to see my face. Isn't that so exciting? That's happy Sarah. My oxygen had dropped down to 80, and my heart rate in bed was 141. If I got up out of bed, it would be 200, 220, walking around the house, not even going up and down stairs. It was really scary. I'll put it on my exhausted face. There you go. Just laying in bed. And finally, day 10, I noticed a shift. I had a lot of pressure in my head. COVID will attack where you're weakest. And I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor. So it went right into my brain. It went right into my heart, started attacking my heart, started attacking my brain. And day 10, I had a yellow liquid that was oozing from my eyes and from my ears. The pressure in my head, it was like someone hitting me with a 4x4. And then it would radiate to the front of my face. And it was just blinding pain. I couldn't see, I couldn't sit up, I couldn't talk. I lost my ability to speak. I was drooling all over myself. And my family came up and they brought big bags of cauliflower rice and we're putting them by my head. And my husband came in, he goes, maybe it's time to go to the ER. Like, I think maybe this is time to like get in the car. And so we formed a circle and we just started praying. And I just kept hearing, wait. And then we wait a little bit and, pray again. And I'd hear wait. And so my poor husband didn't sleep very well that night. He like 2, 3 in the morning, he's just tossing and turning. The kids are tossing and turning in bed. And it was the first time in my whole life that I had a thought of, what if I don't make it through tonight? Like, what if my husband rolls over and I am dead next to him? I mean, we had brought up a couch upstairs. I was wrapped in blankets. My fever was just raging. And I had that bag of frozen rice, cauliflower rice in the back of my head. I'm drooling all over myself. And I started writing notes to my kids to say goodbye to them. I was just telling them to make sure they surround themselves with the right friends and the right people and to love Jesus with all their heart. And to make sure that when they can't pray and they don't have the words to say, that they just start worshiping. And so but I couldn't actually pick up a pencil and write to them. So I was writing it in my head and I was so delirious that I thought I was actually writing notes to my children to say goodbye to them. And then I just prayed for a little bit of strength, just a tiny bit of strength to be able to get over to the bathroom. And I pulled myself up and it took me about 45 minutes kind of leaning along the wall to get to the bathroom. And I got in the shower and just had my face against the tile. And I don't even know how long I was there. I just had hot water just pouring on me and was able to get into bed. And my husband woke up at 8 and he helped me into the vehicle and we drove straight to our family doctor's a natural doctor. And she did a bunch of testing and she's like, Sarah, she goes, you have 3 infections in your brain. You have COVID, you have a bacterial infection, you have a viral infection, you have massive inflammation. They got me in for an MRI. She said, if it was me, I would go to the emergency room. That's what I would do. But, you keep telling me that God is telling you to wait. So she tested me for all of these supplements and gave me a mix of 9 of them and sent me home. And she said, if anything changes, you're having problems breathing, your lips start swelling, like anything, please just get in the car and go to the emergency room. But I just didn't have a peace about doing that. And, each of you guys will choose for yourself what you think the best road of action is for you if you find yourself in that situation. But I haven't even had Tylenol or aspirin in my body in 12 years. So I had no idea how I'd respond to steroids, to high dose intravenous antibiotics, and all the other things that they would have done going in. And so I went home, and I'm going to tell you guys more than you want to know tonight, but I went home and I took the supplements and nothing really happened. And then I took another dose, nothing happened. We did 5 doses. And after the 5th one, I had a huge bowel movement. It was like the biggest poo ever, right? You didn't think when you got up for the training tonight, you hear about Sarah Harnisch's poop, right? It was a big one. And all of a sudden my head pain went, if a 10 is excruciating, I can't talk, I'm drooling on myself, my eyes are leaking liquid and everything, it went down to a 7. And so my husband comes upstairs, and I'm sitting up in bed, and I'm looking at him, and I'm talking, and he's just like looking at me because I've been like half dead for 2 days. It totally caught him off guard. And I took a few more doses of the supplements, and then it went down to a 5. My head pain did. And he came upstairs, and I said, I want to go on a walk. And I've got water in my lungs. I can feel it sloshing around when I'm rolling around. And he looks at me, he's like, maybe not, like maybe let's not like walk it. I was like, no, I want to go on a walk. So I like held on to him, and we kind of walked one little loop around the street and came back in. And then I was in bed for 5 days. But that was when I turned the corner and started really, really improving. I ended up being in bed for 2 months after that. And my whole family caught COVID. They were over it in 4 days. I found out later there were a couple of factors that led to me getting it so bad. I mean, the number one thing we changed when we hit Diamond was we switched to all organic food. And so we spend like $700 a week on groceries. I run every single day. I mean, we get at least 4 miles in every single day. So I step back and go, why? I don't understand. I'm taking supplements. I eat really well. My diet's not perfect, but it's probably 80 to 90% clean. I don't understand why I would get it so bad. Number one, I had Candida. Which I've had for a really long time. That was from 30 years of just drinking pop and eating processed food and living off of food pantries and all sorts of things. And so that's, if you think of like a mushroom, it's a fungus. So it's got tentacles and tendrils that touch everything in your body. And when you catch something like a virus like that, it can utilize those as highways to get to all of the organs in your body very quickly. The second thing that I didn't know about, which I actually found about this week, is I have a huge fibroid tumor. A very, very large one. And that has really messed with my immune system big time. And so that both of those things were why I got it so bad, and my family didn't get it so bad. But I don't know if you've had any periods in your life where you're just in emergency mode, emergency, and then all of a sudden the emergency's over. Like you've gotten through the process and you step back and you're like, oh wait, I'm running a business. Where was I? What did I leave off with? And that's kind of what happened to me in like April, May. After like I got through the worst of it, I was up, I was moving, trying to get back in homeschooling my kids. I just kind of stepped back and said, all right, where did I leave off with my business? I don't even remember that I have. I mean, I basically haven't done anything in a quarter of a year. I haven't taught any classes. I've been bedridden. I've been trying to get over this. My body temperature is still not back to normal. It's been almost a year, and it changed the whole temperature of my body. So it hit my endocrine system really hard. And I don't know if you guys have been in emergency mode and then you step back and you're like, okay, what do I do now? I don't remember where I left off with anything. So I'm going to share a little snippet of this story. I actually wrote about it at the beginning of the script book this year because it was just what's on my heart. And I feel like it's an elephant in the room, and we don't talk about the trial and tribulation that we're going through. Then you can't just sit in a room with 10 people having huge things going on in their life and be like, all right, let's talk business. All right, how are you building? What are you doing for your mindset? Like you got, I mean, when Jesus was helping people, he always gave them food first and then went and did the spiritual heart work on them, but you fed them first. And so that's kind of why I opened this book with this, because I feel like so many of us are in this place where we're like, all right, I'm just picking pieces up off the ground. I never remember where I left off. I feel like my business is in pieces right now. I'm really worn down. I'm operating at like 20%. And, emotionally, I'm kind of a wreck. And so I wanted to speak to that. And then I'll tell you what's been working for us. So at the very end of the section called Persevere, I said, my fever's still 101. This was a couple of months after I had gotten COVID. The longest fever of my life before this was 2 days. I still have pressure in my head. I'm still testing positive for COVID-19. I'm still coughing mucus from my lungs. I've had nothing but bone broth for 3 weeks. And yet this book is done, and all the glory goes to God. I don't know why some people have trials and others don't seem to. I don't know how some people build to diamond in a year and others seem to take 20 years. I don't know why some people have rooms full of people and others have 100 no-show classes. I don't know why some face unbelievable hurdles and other people seem to be blessed, but I do know one thing, and Paul said it in Philippians 4:12. He said, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or living in want. And I'll tell you guys, I will never take my health for granted again after this last year. Never, ever, ever will I take it for granted again. You see, it doesn't matter what tools we have, and it doesn't matter what time we have, and it doesn't matter what friend circles we have or how much we think we don't know, because the outcome isn't up to us. We can have a little or we can have a lot. We can lose our health and we can still move. The reality is that we serve a great big God who is always there. And when we are obedient, even in persecution, even while under spiritual attack, he is still on the throne and he still has favor over us. We just need to trust him and we need to move. So somehow this script book, I wrote this thing while I had a hand laceration, nerve damage, COVID-19, a viral infection in my brain, a bacterial infection in my brain, months of fever. And there were days where I just cried out to God. And I was like, really? I don't understand. I feel like even my mental ability has been taken away from me. But the truth is sometimes the greatest attacks are because you're out there doing the greatest things. I mean, Satan doesn't want millions of people blessed, and he definitely doesn't want prosperity over your family. And for sure, he doesn't want you to have hope. The last thing he wants you to have is hope. So maybe my goal tonight, we got 15 minutes left. Maybe my goal is just to give you some hope. Just that you walk away even with that in your back pocket and say, you know what, you can take a lot of things from me, but you cannot take hope away from me, because there's a great God who says that he knows the plans that he has for you, and they're plans for hope and plans for a future and plans to prosper you. So guys, this might've been an awful year. It might've been the worst year that you have ever had. The last 12 months, the last 24 months, you might've suffered tremendous grief and loss. And maybe my story is just a little tiny blip compared to the suffering that you have endured. I mean, I know so many people that have lost businesses, friends, precious loved ones, people that haven't lost anybody, but they've been lonely and they've been isolated and they've been ignored and they've been stagnant and they've spent months in fear and transition and uncertainty and they battled depression. Wouldn't you agree that there's a need for hope in this coming year, that we need that? I'll tell you this, you've already got everything that you need to fight. I mean, you may not feel strong enough, but that's okay, because I was the weakest I've been this entire year. And, the one thing that I've learned through it is that it's not on our strength that we rely, right? All God asks of us is consistency. He asks us to show up, right? He asks us to walk, to be faithful with the little tiny bits that are in our hand. He doesn't tell us to be strong enough, right? Because when we're weak, he's strong. Right? He's strong. So just be obedient and persevere and move, fight when nobody is listening, and walk, because even if you walk those smallest steps, God is going to use them. And so I get to stand in front of you guys tonight and tell you that I survived COVID-19 and survived a serious brain infection. And then the Lord used my weakness and he worked through those little pieces that I could give. And it was enough. And I was enough. And you are enough. And God is just beginning to write your story. He really is. And so what's the project taught me and what's the last year taught me? It's taught me to be brave and not to give up and to hold on to hope, even if that's the last thing that you can hold on to, even if you're like right at the edge of just walking away and you're discouraged and exhausted and the rank isn't coming. That vision will keep you moving, but hope will keep you in the game. And share and never quit, because the ones that don't make it to diamond are the ones that stop sharing. And you guys, what I'm going to say. If you've read Game Plan, you know who I think you are. You're a diamond rising, right? You're a diamond rising. So my life verse, and this is a new one for me this year, because I've had one for most of my life, but this one's special. Galatians 5:13 says, "For you were called to freedom, brethren, only do not turn your freedom into an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another." All right, serve one another. If you're always keeping it about the other people around you and not focusing on your problems and frustrations, all of a sudden it's not so hard. Okay. It's not so hard because you're not looking at you and the things that aren't working for you. You're looking at the people around you and their issues and problems and frustrations, and you are present for them. So let me throw some things at you. And I actually, when I don't type things out and put in front of me, I will I will ramble and I don't want to do that to you guys. I promised them I would stick to clock tonight. So I'm going to give you some things that have really, truly helped me this year. And I'll give you some tangible examples of it as well. So, you know, I'm not just throwing stuff at you, but I'm going to give you a couple of Unstuck concepts first. That's another book that I wrote. And then I'm going to give you some really specific things that I've done since August with our leaders that have helped me a ton. So the first thing I would tell you is to go back to the concept of tongue, head, feet. Guys, I really believe that the Lord is not going to grow your business if you are speaking death over your business every single day. You know, I mean, the tongue's a double-edged sword. So if you're saying, I can't find leaders, nobody's coming to class, I'm just so discouraged, I'm so frustrated, I can't believe I haven't hit rank yet. I've actually fallen back rank. I was a silver and now I can't even call myself an executive. And I'm so discouraged. And does this even work? Well, the reality is, yes, it does work. We wouldn't have 450 diamonds in Young Living if it didn't work. So it clearly works. But part of the problem is to get your business going this way, you have to stop cursing it every single day. I mean, every time you are saying something negative about your business or frustrated about your business, you're cursing your business with your mouth. So you're saying, I don't know why this isn't working, or I'm frustrated about this or this or this. You know, it's okay to think through solutions of problems, but when you're consistently calling that stuff out, you're literally cursing your business over and over and over again. So write down the things one time that you're struggling with, write the opposite of that, and then just start speaking that stuff over your business. And it's crazy. Like I even said, I was like, Lord, you know, I spend so much time teaching classes for my leaders, teaching classes for my new business builders, but I feel like it's been forever since I have signed somebody up, because every time I sign somebody, I'm signing them under somebody else. You know, it used to be a top enroller, but I don't even know how many people I've enrolled, because every single person I sign under one of my other new builders. And I was like, I'm just so frustrated. And then I heard that coming out of my mouth a week ago. And I was like, you know what? No, Lord, like I'm excited about the people you're bringing to me and the mojo I'm going to have with this growth and the people that you're drawing to me. And like, as I was praying that, two women came and sat down next to me on the plane that I was flying back on. And both of them signed up in Young Living. Both of them want to build a business. And then that led to two other business builders. Then we went on a walk yesterday. I bumped into a lady from Shakely and she's like, yeah, I'm in Shakely, but I want to use Young Living. I don't have anybody around here that's selling it. And she goes, and my neighbor's been interested in that for like 5 years and can't find anybody. And she wants to build a business. I was like, what, in my subdivision? What? You know, but that was just me literally speaking it out loud. And then God just like, bam, 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 bam. I feel like sometimes we withhold it ourselves with our mouth. You know, like we're withholding that blessing ourselves because we just keep speaking death over our business. So the first thing I would tell you is you need mojo. Do what you need to do to get one person signed up on your team. I don't even care what that looks like. Prostrating yourself in the middle of the road outside your house, you know, get people's attention in tangible ways by finding out what their needs are and meeting their needs, period. Like find their need, meet their need. They got a kid who's coughing, go bring a diffuser over to their house, like find the need, meet the need. And when you get that one person side of your team, all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, I forgot that this wasn't really that hard. I just haven't done it in a while, you know? So going back to those basic things that will get you excited about the business again and remind you that you can do it. So instead of focusing on, oh my gosh, you got to get to senior star. Oh my word, I've got to get to silver. Like silver is the game changer income. I got to get there. I got to get to gold. I'm going to miss bridge to gold if I don't hit this in the next 8 weeks. Just focus on one thing. You know, it drives me crazy when network marketers are like, I want you to talk to 25 people a day. I'm like, shoo, man, I talk to my kids every day. I'm homeschooling 6 to 8 hours a day. I'm not talking to 25 people a day, right? So sometimes we look at these goals that are like this. We need to just look at the thing right in front of us, you know, and maybe your goal is, hey, in the next week, I'm going to make sure I get my neighbor signed up. I'm going to make sure that I get that check from my kids' basketball team. I'm just going to connect with her and get her plugged into a class. Put small, tangible goals in front of yourself so you're not consistently missing every goal that you're setting for yourself. Next thing I would tell you is mojo methods. So these are things that just get you excited about your business. So warm market. I heard Eric Worre give a description once that when he first started a network marketing business, he was like a puppy just peeing all over his friends, just like piddle, 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 because he was like word vomiting on every single friend. Join, 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 join. And then he's like, oh crud, like everybody I know has literally heard about this because I peed on all of them. At the very, very beginning, they was so excited, you know. But you will find even now, even if you've been in Young Living for 15 years, there are still people you know that are not on your team. You know, so make a list of them and just be like, hey, I need to cozy up next to them, find out what's going on in their world and get them some products that are going to get them excited and then get them signed up on your team. Because you would cry if you found out they were on somebody else's team, especially if you've been dropping little seeds for a while, but you haven't actually gone and invited them to a class. Second thing I tell you is do what we're doing right now, do Zoom classes.
And I found, when I get on, I do Zoom every single week. I'll have a couple people get on, and then not as many people are getting on. But if I'm doing one-on-ones with people, I just kind of hunt deep into my team, grab somebody that hasn't shown up for things for a while. And I admit, my name is Sarah Harnisch and I hunt people. So I'll like find people on the team that came to a class like a year ago or 2 years ago, and then they just haven't been showing up. When I have that one-on-one time with them, even if it's on Zoom, they get excited again and they start showing up. And then the third thing, and this is truly a game changer for me, and I'm going to give you some math on it because it works so well, is a concept called friends of friends. So let me just give you a little bit of math. All right. What I'd like you guys to do, I'm going to move that around, is, I hear so many people say, well, I only got 9 people on my team that are on loyalty rewards. I've only got 15 people on my team that are on loyalty rewards. I don't even know how to take that and get from, how do you get across to the silver barrier? How do you get past senior star executive and get to silver? How do you get past the star barrier? If I sign my mom and my best friend and I just can't get to executive, Jill told me something when we got together for the diamonds that I have not gotten out of my head since she said it. Most of the stuff she says, I can't get out of my head when she says it, but she said, the average person only wants to make $100 to $500 in Young Living. And so maybe you're star and you just can't get to that executive level, or that kind of, medium rank between executive and silver with that $500 paycheck. And I would tell you, you already have it. You've already got it on your team if you've already taught classes and gotten a few people on your team. So let me tell you what I mean by that. So say you've got 9 people on your team right now and they're on loyalty rewards. All right. What if you were to make it a goal that they would never pay for their product ever again? They don't have any desire to do the business. Most people, when I talk to them, I would say 99% of the people on my team have no desire to build a business. When I first talked to them, I didn't want to build a business until I was a platinum and I was making 4 times my full-time income, and I still didn't see Young Living as a business. So expecting people to see diamond as a star or as a senior star, that's a really big expectation that most people, at least from my team, they don't meet that, criteria. So what if your goal is just to help them get their product for free? And that's the place that you start. Hey, just, you don't need to build a business. I will come do the teaching. Just get people in front of me so that I can help you get your product for free. I will teach you classes. You get the paycheck. We're going to sign you up as a brand partner. It's $30. You're going to get a little kit in the mail, and I will teach to your friend circles because I know you want your mom using Thieves. I know you want your best friend using Engrain. I know you want everybody, using lemon geranium and evergreen essence that I can't talk about, right? So, why don't you put them in front of me, and then the check will be yours so that you can order product for your family and it doesn't have to come out of your budget for your family. That's the way that I talk to people that are on my team that have no interest in building the business. So say you go to 9 people on your team that are already on loyalty rewards, they're already using the product, they're already excited about Young Living. Maybe they're ordering 100 PV, maybe they're ordering 300 PV, but they're not really making that jump to a brand partner. And I say, all right, I want to make it my goal that you're getting a $300 to $500 paycheck in Young Living so that you can order all the things you want for your family and get enzymes, get all your kids on supplements, and, build a really good oils arsenal in times of need. So you teach under them until they have 15 people under them that are on loyalty rewards. So if they had 2 or 3 people per class, that'd be 5 classes. That's a commitment. If you're teaching a class a week, that's a commitment of a little over a month, to pour into that person, a month and a half. So say you teach until they have 15 people under them. They have 3 people at each class. You teach 5 classes. So they have 15 people. Now you have 135 people on that leg. What I have found is when you are doing consistent product education, meaning you tease in the class that you're in to get them excited and coming to the next class, and you're using those windows where they are in the class initially as an opportunity to market for the next class. And when you collect data on them to find out what they want to learn, and I'll talk to you about how I do that in a minute. What I found is the more classes people come to, the more they tend to spend. So if they come to just a 101 class, then they'll get some oil starter kit. Maybe they find one product, they love the Thieves cleaner, and then they order 50 PV every couple months. If they come to a Thieves class, now they're excited about Thieves and they're stocking Thieves, and they switch out their laundry soap, dish soap, and they're ordering maybe 100 PV every month. Maybe they come to a Ningxia class, or they come to a kids class, or they come to a CBD class. What I found is the more classes that they attend, and however way you're delivering that product education to them, there's not a wrong way of doing product education, whether it's textable classes, podcasting, Instagram, however you're delivering it, project broadcast, there's a million ways to do it. But however you're delivering product education to them, the more education you're getting on different topics, the more they tend to spend. So say that you get somebody in 3 classes or 4 classes and they were spending 50 PV, now they're spending 300 PV. So you continue doing product education with these 135 until they're spending 300 PV. That leg's now gold level. That's the 40,500. That's from 9 people that were on loyalty rewards. Did you guys see the math on that? So 9 people, you teach until each one is on loyalty rewards and they have 15 people under them. Then you keep doing continuing product education until they're spending about 300 PV and net legs at 40,500. And that's from 9 people. So that's the power of exponents when you're going in and you're working within people's friend circles. It's not the people that you know, it's the people your people know. That's how you build your organization. The people your people know, not the people that you know, because there will be a point where you're like, oh, where am I pulling people from? So this is inside my virtual office. And this is how we used friends of friends on my team. So month 1, this was July 2014. I had a team of 7. So I taught 1 class. I had 6 people on my team. It was me and 6 people. And we had an OGV of 1,023. And then I turned to those 6 people and I said, hey, let me teach for you guys. Just bring your mom, bring your best friend, bring whoever. Let me teach so that you can have a paycheck and then you can order this stuff for free. And you're like, okay, you're going to do the work. I get the check. All right. And so I went and taught for those 6 people and we went to 27 people 4 weeks into my business and my OGV was 2,300. Then I turned around to the 27 and month 3, we were 63 people and our OGV was 6,200. Then I turned around to the 63 and we jumped to 118 people and we hit silver and our OGV was 14,739. So that's what doing that continuing product education looks like, and turning to the people that are already on your team and building from those places as friends of friends. So let me point you to a couple of resources that I've developed that are free. They don't cost anything. I believe really deeply in free stuff. And people have asked me a lot, how come you don't charge for your website? Why isn't it a subscription site? I don't believe in that. If you've read anything in Game Plan, John and I lived in the projects for 12 years before we got out and we got our regular jobs. And then we got freed of those with Young Living and became diamonds. But we know what it's like to start from absolutely nothing. So I don't believe that you need 10 grand to build your Young Living business. I think you can get out there and share with the people next to you and build your business with no resources in your hand except being excited, being focused, and meeting people's needs. And so one of the things that we have done, and I'll just show you, I'll show you up on my website. This is free. If you go to oilabilityteam.com and you go to share, this whole button is free stuff. There's just tons of free stuff. But if you click on the script book, which is my new one, and scroll down, there's 25 classes here. You can link to any one of these. Say if you go on the kids class page, there is a full PowerPoint that's free. It doesn't cost you anything. We've had 12-year-olds teach off of it. So you literally download it in 30 seconds and you can teach from Starbucks. If you meet somebody in a Starbucks, teach it off your cell phone, teach it off of your tablet, your computer. There's blank slides. If you want to customize it for your team, you can. The script for the first 5 are up there. Textable classes, challenge calendars, graphics to market your classes, social media shareable images, coloring sheets with the oils and all of that. It's free, guys. It's just a free website for you to be able to use that that will point you in the direction for some really, really good content that's well developed with just teams of graphic artists and photographers. This is what the PowerPoint for the Thieves class looks like, and Ningxia, and it works. You know, going out and doing product education will work. So script, kit, human, repeat, right? Script, kit, human, repeat. People ask me, why do I use scripts? And I said, well, you know, most of the really successful network marketers that I have studied under do use scripts. If you look at the Eric Worreys and the Tony Robbins and the Danny Johnsons and the people that have built multi-million-dollar organizations, they lean on a system that is duplicatable. All right. So other ways to increase OGV, and then I'll tell you a couple more things and then I'll wrap up and we'll do the Q&A here. Everybody on your team, I told you in the script book, there's 25 classes. What if everybody on your team got all 25 classes? Like, what if you just took the last quarter of the year and you taught everybody, maybe on your team page, or you gathered pockets of your team that have not been showing up for things. You get 1 or 2 people excited on a leg that's slowly starting to clock out, and you start doing some new product education that they haven't had before. Maybe a seedlings class, maybe a Gary Young class, maybe a diffuser class, maybe a class on how to professionally do blends. You're going to get people excited, and that'll lead to OGV growth. Going through the zeros and inactives on your team and getting them plugged in again. Teaching classes and showing people on your team that you teach, because they're going to duplicate what they see you doing. And having an eye to see the needs that are around you. Probably the number one thing that I hear, that I still hear all the time, is that nobody's really showing up. I don't know what to do, and they don't show up. The only reason you have no-show classes is because people don't know they need oil. They aren't even aware that they need it. So how do you get them to the place where they know that they need it? One of my favorite sentences is, I think this is the answer you've been looking for. Right? I think this is the answer you've been looking for your son. I think this is the answer that your husband's been looking for, because if people know that you care about them and that you see them and you hear them, they will respond to you. So if you want them to show up for your class, you have to see them and you have to hear them. How do you talk to people you don't know? Ask leading questions. And this works with people even on your team. Respond to their questions with questions. So don't steal time in the clock talking about yourself, but respond to their questions with questions. Stop talking for 2 minutes and just listen to what they have to say. Then find common ground with them and meet them in their place of need. Meet them in that place where they just need to be seen and where they need to be heard. So let me give you an example of how this is played out on our team, and then I will end and we'll open up that Q&A session so you guys can ask some questions. We have actually had very good success with this model this year. So getting my team to duplicate classes, meeting with my leaders face to face, focusing on, I've been using Scrippo classes, but you guys can use any resource that you have available to you where you're doing product education. So going back into those pockets of my team and doing product education. My diamond leg we had a scare. That leg was at gold level. It was 35,000 at the start of the pandemic. It dropped all the way down to 18,000 this summer. John and I were sweating. We had sweat dripping down our back because our OGV was fine, but that diamond leg got really close to crossing under 15,000. And so for the last 12, 16 weeks, we've just been hardcore teaching on that leg every single week, just doing more product ed, and offering incentives to get people to come to the classes and all of that. And so just by doing classes on the team, I've been using Scrippo classes, but any classes that you've got, we've taken the diamond leg from 18,000 to 25,000 in the last 12 weeks. So we have seen a turnaround in the volume in that leg. So I'm going to tell you exactly what we did that helped. And it's not just stuff I'm throwing at you guys. It's stuff that really, like, we tried it, this didn't work, this did work. And then we tried this and this didn't work and this did work. So first thing I would tell you is go back to what you were doing 2 ranks ago, because everybody has had loss. So look at what rank you are right now or what your highest rank was. Go back 2 ranks, and that's the place I want you to start working from. So say you were a platinum and you go back to the rank of silver. What were you doing at the rank of silver? Well, how are you hustling at silver? How many classes were you teaching? How are you connecting with your leaders? What kind of events were you doing? What kind of mindset training were you doing? Where was your head? How are you spending your time? And you look at your business strategy. What were you doing? Start from that place and rebuild. Next thing I would tell you is to do some rank mapping. You got to know where you're going so you can actually get there. So one of the things I do with my leaders is we look at the leg they're trying to build on, and I have them count back, say they're 700 OGV short or 1200 OGV short. I have them write it on Post-it notes backwards, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I have them stick it on their bathroom mirror. And every time they have a kit sale or every time they have somebody place an order or whatever, I have them pull another Post-it note off. So every morning visually, they can see exactly how far away they are from their next rank and how close it is. The next thing I would tell you is teach classes. I mean, just get out there and share with people. And so the script book is one resource for you, but there's so many good tools that have been developed by so many gifted people. Guys, we're so blessed to have so many diamonds out there developing resources, platinums out there developing resources. I think about all the things that we've used on our team that have been just such a blessing to us. Just grab something and get out there and do it. If you're not actually doing action steps, you're not going to see growth in your organization. Reach into the deeper parts of your team, and that's going to require some research. Going back and looking at what we call those one kit wonders that came and showed up for one class and they never showed up again. So we have a thing on our team called Contact Me cards that we use that I hand out at the beginning of class. They are up on my website. And so it just does a little marketing work to find out what do they want to learn about. And I give them a whole paragraph of stuff. And then, do you want to learn about hormones? You want to learn about men? You want to learn about animals, Bible, what's the Bible? What do you want to learn about? And then we use that to market the next class, to strategize for the next class. So, find the people that are not showing up or the people that have been spending, but they're not coming to events and they're not getting additional training, and connect with them and teach to them. Make what you're doing duplicatable. So can you be copied? Because if you can't be copied, then it's for naught. So don't overthink what you're doing. Just do it and then simplify what you're doing so other people can copy what you're doing. Another thing I've been doing this year is having FaceTime with my leaders, especially leaders that have lost rank, especially leaders that are discouraged, and especially leaders that are not coming to events. The ones that are coming to events, they're already clocked in. If we go up and we do a beauty school or we go up and do a large team event, they're already there. I want the ones that aren't there, the ones that haven't hit rank in a while. And so I am getting in my car and going to them. And sometimes I can't walk in in and be like, hey, why aren't you building your business? I just walk in and say, girl, do you want me to give you a raindrop this week? Like, what can I do to serve you? How can I be in your space and just find out what your needs are, show you that I love you and I have no expectations of you, that I'm not staring down your OGV. I'm not telling you that you're a failure. I'm not frustrated with your lack of progress. I just want to show up and just wash your feet for a while and just say, hey, I care about you. I love you. You have value to me as a person and a friend outside of this business, and what's going on in your world and how can I serve you best? Just having that FaceTime with them. Then all of a sudden I'm finding they're hopping on lives, they're commenting on stuff, they're showing up for events, they're starting to host classes again, because you served them first, right? You gave them the bread before you gave them the message. Do events and get to events. So the events right now are going to feel smaller. I remember I flew into San Antonio in June, and the last time I was there, we had like 500 people in the room. Then I went and got out there and there were 70. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's easy to get discouraged at small numbers. Don't be discouraged. Okay. The events are going to feel smaller right now. And that's okay, because we're in a stage of rebuilding what was lost, but the Lord will restore what the locusts have eaten. All right. He will restore what the locusts have eaten. I would tell you, get your head out of the gutter. So do some mindset training. Jill on call was telling me a couple of months ago, she recommends Kristen Boss's training. And I've hopped on since then and listened to some of her podcasts. I've gotten so much out of it. So she's a wonderful resource. Eric Worre, Jim Rohn, there's so many resources online, guys. You got to work hard not to pour into yourself. You actually have to work hard to do it. So get your head in a space where you can work. Another thing I would tell you is get around your runners, especially if it's been a while since you personally have signed somebody to your organization. They're going to pump you up. So if you have two people that are bringing new people into your organization, or you have somebody that's just really excited about the business, get in their space. And sometimes that means I've got to jump over my upper leaders to get deeper into my organization. And that's okay. It's all right to do that. I would tell you, show up and then show up again, and then show up again, and then show up again. So I'm the class a week girl. Like, I've done 10,000 things wrong in building my business, which is how Game Plan was written. It was all the stuff I did wrong, right? But the one thing I did right was I didn't stop showing up. I just kept showing up. So I went a quarter of a year and didn't teach. It's like the longest I've gone not teaching classes, but I was in bed with like 103, 104 fever. Right. So I'm not teaching classes when I'm in bed with a brain infection. So when I came out of that fog, I started teaching again. You know what? I got on and I was having 200, 250 people get on my lives on my team page. And I get on, and my first class, marketed it for a week, 0 people showed up. And I was like, dang nabbit. So I save it, pin it to the top of my page. I'm like, all right, you suckers. Next week I come back, 1 person gets on one of my platinums for like 2 minutes in a 15-minute class. I was like, oh, so I'm like, fine, suckers. I pin it to the top of the page. Next week I show up again, right? Teach another class. Now 6 people get on. I was like, right? So next week I show up, 40 people get on. Next week I show up. We had 60 people get on. Just keep showing up, and if you have to rebuild that trust that you had before the pandemic, it's okay. Go back and rebuild. And the last thing I would tell you is to pray over your business. I mean, it sounds crazy, but guys, it works. Stop complaining about your leaders and start praying for your leaders. Start praying over them. Start praying that God would draw them to you. Pray that the Lord draws leaders of integrity to your team, and surrender what you're holding on to like this. Surrender it like this, because when you're holding on to your business like this, you can't grow your business. It's impossible, all right, because you haven't given it away to the Lord. So I'm going to take 30 seconds and pray a little prayer of surrender with you guys, and then I will stop talking. And we'll open up a Q&A, and I'll just take your questions. But if you guys are ready, this is a humzinger prayer. If you're ready to just kind of let it go and be like, all right, God, this isn't my business, this is your business. I trust you. Then close your eyes with me for just a moment. And let's pray together, all right? Dear Lord, I know I don't have this all figured out, and I am weary. And I feel like every single thing that I do, God, I am just running in a creek, and I'm running against the current, and all of my actions are in slow motion, despite the very best effort that I put in. And I feel like my business is moving like a freight train. And God, I am tired. I realize that the root of the issue is control. And I get discouraged when I don't rank up as fast as I see others ranking up. I feel like I can't find business builders who are all in and don't need me to be there. Nobody seems to want to sit in an oils class, and building relationships is hard, and calling people is hard. And sometimes they don't even answer the phone. And I feel like I'm just in the middle of my business in a great big desert, and I'm alone. And I need your wind, God. I ask for forgiveness right here, right now, for my stubbornness and for my standards and for my expectations and my fear and my anxiety and my doubt. God, I just lay that with you. And I'm sorry for the noise. And I feel like I don't listen very well, and I have a hard time being still to hear you, but I know that you are bigger than any giant that I face. So help me to remember that I am a David because I've got you fighting by my side. And that includes fighting for my family and fighting for my relationships and fighting for my business. This is my year of surrender. So I turn up my hands to the sky and I release everything that I've been holding on to with really tight fists. That means my downline. I release my leaders. I release my classes. I release my OGV, all my business statistics, my gifts, my talents, my time, my family, my finances, my health, my past, my present, my future, my tongue. And when I speak over myself and my business, God, I release that all to you. And that means that I hold none of it back for me. It's yours. And I'm done taking glory that belongs to you because everything good that I have came from you and from you alone. God, give me the peace of the sun on my face and just clear the sky so I can sit close to you and be relentless with me, Lord, and never give up on me. Surrendering means that this business is yours, and it means my life is yours. And it means I don't need to look over my shoulder and I don't need to get discouraged because you're in every detail. Thank you for never leaving me. And thank you for never forsaking me. You are a good God, and I can trust you. And I'm slowly learning to release. Thank you for fighting for me. In Jesus' name, amen. As I want you to remember that prayer forever, because you just took all your emotions and all your fear and all your doubt and pain and frustration and put it in a box and you just left it at the cross, and now it's over. And now you can set realistic expectations for your business and move forward and start speaking life and doing action steps that will lead to growth in your business. All right, guys, I haven't left you a ton of time to be able to ask questions, but go ahead and ask away. I'm new to this. This is my first time doing this. So forgive me, but I'm looking in the chat box here and I can see your questions. Linda says, thank you for praying. That is what is needed. It is. Nicole says, I give you a big high five for your books. Thank you, friend. Thanks for writing them. I'm grateful. How often do you do follow up after a class? All right. Well, I have a confession. I'm blue. So follow up is my Achilles heel. I tend to be the word vomiter that goes from person to person and gets them signed. And then it's like, oh, whoops. So I would tell you, I mean, if you have a system and you stick to that system, that is awesome. I write down people in my planner that I need to get in touch with, and I don't get frustrated with myself if I don't get in touch with them and the goals that I set for myself. So I try to at least shoot a text to them or a quick Facebook message and get them plugged into a class. My follow-up is classes. Honestly, if I'm just shooting straight with you, it's not really a lot of texting back and forth because I'm homeschooling like 40 plus hours a week. So most of it is, hey, let's get you plugged into a class. Hey, I've got a 101. You can ask me your questions at the class. And I just funnel people into that 2 hours a week that I'm committing to my business. Because if I'm on my phone like 24/7, I'm not a present mom. So this is a place that I've safeguarded for my family to not be that person answering questions about back pain at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I teach them right away to use the reference guides and I get them plugged into product education. So script book, yes, that is the $25 book. You guys asked me to make a teacher's edition, which I've never done before. I think it's crazy heavy. As a blue, I'm like, it's so big. Oh, Jordan's got one. She's going to hold it up in front of you. See, this is how blue I am. I don't even have my books in front of me to show you guys. But basically, yeah, thank you, Jordan. I love you, girl. She's like doing marketing for me. Thank you. That one is just, you can just pull out one script and just read it. And it's so easy. It's just, I like easy. So download the PowerPoint, read the script, bam, you just taught a thieves class. It takes like 30, 40 minutes. Download the PowerPoint. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. Go teach a seedlings class. Go teach a Gary Young class. It's easy. Thank you for sharing your heart tonight. I haven't been showing up on Zooms. Connie said, God knew that I needed this tonight. How long are your classes? I have found that people, when I'm in person with them, will sit through about 45 to 60 minutes. If I make it 15, 20, then I feel like they gave up a lot of time to drive to my house and I didn't really deliver. If it's like 30 to 60 minutes, that's a good class. If I get over 60, they're starting to fidget and look around the room and they're really not interested and they're getting bored. I would love to say I do make and takes, but that would require a discipline to order all of the tools and everything. And I generally just like to just grab my script. I grab a couple little giveaways and I keep it super simple. Like a lot of times I just had a class. I didn't even know what I was teaching until I got to New York, until like an hour before the class. So I walked into the class, I found another platinum in town and she had an oils of the Bible kit. I thought I was teaching a hormones class, found out an hour before it was a Bible class instead. So I just went on our website, downloaded the PowerPoint. I grabbed somebody's script book, pulled the class out, read it in front of them, and borrowed a oils of the Bible kit from a platinum that was in town. So, that's a nice thing, is you can really kind of do it on the fly and you don't have to be super prepared. Tina said, I was discouraged coming in, but I'm encouraged now to help more people who will be in the same situation with us with higher insurance premiums. Oh my gosh, do I understand, to help them get their orders paid for. Start with that space of just helping them get free product. Where do you get a teacher's edition? Oilabilityteam.com. It's up there, or we don't have them on Amazon because Amazon won't print stuff unless it has a binding on it. Michelle says, I own every book Sarah's written. Thank you, friend. That's just really sweet. Jordan said, I do Cloud 10 blends as a giveaway. You're going to have to tell me what those are because I don't even know. She said, thank you, Jill. All right, this falls into the category of notes I need to take by being in Jill On-Call space. Nicole says, doing a texting class, how long would you do it for? I have textable classes on my website that recorded in the radio studio, and you can just send them off and they're like 20 minutes long. And those are free. They're under the oils class or thieves, or all of them are all free. And usually they're podcasts and they run like 20 minutes on average. Trisha says, if you're giving 10 to 15 minutes to teach, what would you share? I'm a big believer in starting with oils because it's kind of what we do. Everything we do is around oils. So I find a need they have and I pair an oil with it and I start with a 101 class. If they will not listen on oils, then I'll start with thieves, with cleaning. But most of the time I start with oils because every product we have is oil infused, right? So if you're starting with oils, you can lead into any of those other topics they're interested in. Lifestyle overview. Lori says, thank you. What are some good resources to get started? I got to diamond teaching oils and thieves classes. So, it's nice having a whole bunch of classes. I have 25 of them now in the script books. There's a gazillion to pick from. And now sometimes I feel like we get, what is it called? Paralysis by, analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis or whatever it is. We just look at everything and we're like, I don't even know where to begin. We're blessed in that now we can bring people in without a starter bundle. That's awesome. Is you can go teach a seedlings class and bring them in with baby wipes. Like that's so cool. But if you just need a place to get started, just teach a 101 class, get them in your home, share your personal stories, read a script for a few minutes, point into a starter bundle. The starter bundles are still the best deal on our website. They're half off, so they're getting this much product for this much money. So it's a good place to start. And it's easy and it's simple. And so I would usually start with oils, or if they won't listen to oils, and start with thieves. Let's see. Oh, Cloud 10. Jordan's taking notes from me. Girl, I'm going to connect with you afterwards and take Jill On-Call notes. Thank you. Michelle says, here's the link to the teacher's edition. Thank you. Ashley says, what incentives do you offer to get people to come to classes? I don't really offer incentives. I'm just going to shoot straight with you. I don't do samples. I always admire people that do samples because it's so much work and I'm lazy. I'm a lazy diamond. I like stuff that's really simple, because I don't stick to stuff that takes a lot of work. Like I love mailing out postcards, but I don't stick with it. I love doing rank ups. I finally just paid somebody to put my rank up posts up for me on my team page because I don't even stick with that. I feel bad, but I'm just shooting straight with you guys. What I do is I cozy up next to a person on an airplane. I find out that they fell and hit their head 6 months ago and they lost their sense of smell. And I said, you know what? I know a technique called neuroauricular technique. And I did sniff training to get my smell back after COVID. Why don't we try those things and see if they help you? And she's like, yeah. And then she signed on my team and now she's coming for classes. You just find those places where people have needs and you show up for them. I don't say, hey, I'll give you this free stuff if you come to my class. I just say, what's going on in your world? Hey, maybe this might help, and if they won't come with that, then I'll loan things to them, like loan my diffuser out and see if I can get them to come, right? Write a bunch of books and calls herself lazy. Jill, I love you. That's God. We call him God download. Nicole says, do you do giveaways for classes? That I do. I do some giveaways during the classes because I really like fun stuff. So I'll teach a class. When I notice people are starting to clock out and they're not paying attention, I'll just drop a bomb in the middle of the class. I'll be like, in the middle of the oils of the Bible class, I'd be like, hey, what was the first oil that was ever diffused? What was the first oil that, that was, what was the holy anointing oil? Who can tell me one thing that was in the holy anointing oil blend? And everybody's like, and then I usually say, it was the last sentence I just said. I was just waiting to see if you're paying attention, right? And whoever's paying attention, I might give them like, I'm cheap. because I got a lot of kids and grandkids and they take all my money. They keep getting married and going to college, right? So I'll give them like a packet of Thieves Cleaner or a packet of Ningxia if I'm feeling really generous, or maybe like one of those glass spray bottles for thieves. I'll put a couple things up. I do like to give them, I will give them Fearless. I'll give them that. And one thing I have been doing, I didn't talk much about this, was I made a mini for the script book. Everybody really likes these, but I've been using it like a passport. Thank you, Jordan. I'm not even holding these up anymore. You can just do it. But in the beginning, it shows all 25 classes in the script book. And they range from like 30 minutes to an hour. But what I'll do is I'll say, hey, you're in one class, give yourself a check mark for that class. When you come to the second class, I'll have a gift for you of like a glass bottle for your Thieves Cleaner. If you come to a third class, I'll give you some CBD samples. Come to a fourth class, I'll give you some Super B. And so we're finding people, we did a survey on our team, 72% of our team only came to one class. So we're trying to get that number down in like the 30% range, because more product education equals higher OGV, right? If you're getting people excited and they're returning for classes, then that's going to lead to OGV growth. So I've been using this and I have them check mark off what they've done. And then I have things there when they come to more than one class. So I keep my nice stuff off to the side for people that have returned. Sarah, my favorite educator. Thank you, friend. That's very kind. Love the mini. I was just going to say, Sarah gives a lot of mini. Yeah, if you want to get free stuff, just go on my Facebook page, because I give away so much stuff every Tuesday. I hop on. I'm just giving away hundreds of dollars worth of books. John and I don't write stuff to make money. I hope you guys know that. Matter of fact, we haven't made a penny on any book that we've made yet. Every book, we take everything and we put it right back into the next project, or we do it to pay people to develop things for free for you guys. So like textable classes, or it costs a ton of money to do the PowerPoints and all that. We just take it and we put it right back into resources that are free for you guys. So this isn't a money-making machine for us. It's to generate stuff that just make it a little easier for the people after us to have resources and tools. Tools are how I ranked up, just being consistent. When you have a tool, you can say this, this much in this much space, because you just hand it to them and they will investigate it on their own. All right, let me see any other questions I got here. Where do I find the free PDF? Are you talking about the PowerPoints? Those are just up on my website and they don't cost anything, guys. You can grab them whenever you need them. You just go to oilabilityteam.com, and if you click on the script book, they're up there. First time hearing you. Thank you, guys. I didn't cry very much tonight, so I feel like I did good. Any other questions? This is good. There's no way I could have answered all the questions. That Alex says I cried. Alex, I'll give you a big hug, friend. I'll give you a big, big hug from me. Shannon Hudson. Oh, I love her so much. You gave us a lot of free books. Yeah, well, if we have a little surplus of it at an event, then we just give it right back to you guys. What a blessing this was. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the kind words. So I would just tell you, get out there and share. Get out there and find people's needs. Look through your organization. Like, that's something we don't do very often. And I'm not committing like hours every day to this, but just look through your organization. Say, who haven't I touched base with in a while? Who hasn't come to an event? Like, who do I need? What leader was sharing? All of a sudden they're not sharing, when's your next in-person event in Greenville? I don't know, because I have to go into surgery. So and I literally just found that out like this week. So I have to do a major abdominal surgery, and I'm not totally sure when our next one was. I got together with a bunch of diamonds here, and we did a really big event in October, and that was a huge blessing to me. We're trying to do them monthly, but I don't know when my surgery date is. Hopefully I'll find out in the next couple of weeks. So I'll keep you guys posted. If you're on my Facebook page, it's Oilability with Sarah. Up on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, but I don't know how to use Instagram. So I stop laughing at me, Jill. There's a lot of people on there, but I don't know how to like make stories and reels like my teenagers do. And so I'm trying to learn that. So I don't put a whole lot of content on there because I'm still trying to figure it out. Sarah's Instagram is the best. Thanks, Jill. When you do weekly classes, do you Zoom and link it in a Facebook group or just do a Zoom? I actually prefer Facebook Lives on Facebook because I see I get a lot more engagement than Zooms. Zooms, I'll get like the people that have gone to the Zoom. Now you can live stream Zooms on Facebook, and we will get good interaction on that. But I'm, a proponent of good old Facebook Lives if I'm on Facebook, because I see higher engagement. And when you guys are posting on Facebook, you know how you can type and you can pick their backgrounds. I can't believe I'm giving you guys tech advice, because actually my teenager is sitting right on the other couch and he's laughing at me right now because he's like, Mom, you don't even know how to copy and paste. Are you kidding me? He's still laughing. Thanks, Ben. You should come say hi to him, buddy. Show him your muscles. My 17-year-old. But when you can type And then you use their backgrounds. You don't put your picture up, but you use their like colored pages or whatever. Way more people see that. So they see Facebook Lives and they see it when you're using Facebook's tools. Thanks for your transparency. I hope that helps a little bit. I know we get in our heads. We think, I mean, I even think as a diamond, oh, the Royal Crown diamonds have it made. They're making 10 times the income we're making. They have it easy. Guys, the reality is nobody's got it easy. Nobody. I mean, just because you're a diamond doesn't mean you don't have health struggles and you don't have marriage issues and you don't have major catastrophic family events and all, having an income doesn't take away the fact that we live in a fallen world, and stuff happens no matter what your paycheck is. So, I think we tend to think, oh, they've got it easy, but I would say, no, probably what's going on in your world is going on in their world as well. So I think just being real, being authentic, and speaking from that place of humbleness and humility, especially to your leaders who look up to you guys, and think, oh man, they've got it easy. They're a silver, they're an executive, like they've already got their product paid for. And just stepping back and saying, girl, I'm here for you. I'm in the trenches. I will do this alongside you, no matter whether you're here, whether you're not here, whether you need me, whether you don't need me, I'm always here for you, and you're my friend before the business. We all live in a fallen world. What's my Facebook page? It's Oil Ability with Sarah on Facebook. That one, I'm learning how to use that. Instagram, not so much. Nicole can teach me how to use Instagram. And Jill's like the Insta queen. We got so many gifted people on Insta. All right. Any other questions? I think we got everybody here. Yeah, so you can go grab the free stuff. I pray that it's a blessing to you guys. If you need anything, you can always email me. I'll put my email in here. It's oilabilitywithsarah@gmail.com. If you ever have any problems or anything, just shoot me a message. You can write me if you have any questions that you think of a little bit later on. I try to be accessible. But I just want you to know that I love you guys deeply. And I know the people doing the Monday Night Ignites, they love you guys deeply. We show up for you guys because we know what it's like to be a star and be a senior star and be an executive. We know what those ranks feel like. And we know how good it feels to hit silver and gold and platinum. And all we want to do is reach our hand down and grab your hand and pull you up with us. Like, we will not stop until all of you guys have hit the rank of diamond, because we believe in you. You don't need us for your rank. I mean, that's the reality. You really don't need anything we generate or anything we build. Like, it's just you. It's you, your gifts, your talents, your love for people, your authenticness, how much you care about the people around you, how much you're willing to put yourself out there, even when it feels uncomfortable, because you care about the people around you more than you're afraid. More than you're afraid of what they think about you. And when you get to that place in your business, your rank is just going to be like boom, 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 because they'll see your authenticity and they will show up for you because they know that you care about them, right? Diamond Rising. Yeah. All right, guys, I don't have anything else to add. I think you've asked all of your questions. It was a real honor to have some time with you tonight. Thank you. Thank you to Jill and to Amanda for the invite. These are people that I deeply admire and respect. So to be here is not anything that I ever take for granted. I'm so grateful for you guys. So I love you, and come hang out with me online over on Facebook. And I will be showing up for these because it's such great training.